Well, a very good afternoon to you on Wednesday, January the 3rd, 2024. I think I was a little confused yesterday. I thought it was summertime, and I guess that's because it was kind of warm in the ham room. Good afternoon, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, otherwise known by my name in the street, Peter. I will be sponsoring Ham Radio University on the air today. It will be a lead up to live Ham Radio University at LIU Post College, January the 6th. So we'll be on the air talking about HRU, answering any questions about HRU, talking about perhaps what some of your likes are in amateur radio. As I scroll through and speak to some of the hams on 20 meters, and that's where we'll start, I'll be asking them questions that will be related perhaps to their profile, and talk a little bit about that. So this is going to be more conversational than contest style, but that's what Ham Radio University is. And you know, if you have a question about it, there it is. A day of education to share ideas, experiences, knowledge, and fellowship among amateur radio operators. But you know, not exclusive to amateur radio operators. We have quite a few people that have a curious interest in amateur radio, or have a curious interest in Raspberry Pis, because those are subjects that are within amateur radio, but also people who have interest in programming and how to build a Pi and all the different things a Pi can do. We have a session on that. In fact, that is called Raspberry Pi Applications for Ham Radio, but it can be applied to anything. And W2NDG will be doing that. So we'll have about 21 forums at Ham Radio University. And I think you'll find something for you, between building your first HF station to practical test equipment, basics of operating HF, very nice, very interesting. 6-meter propagation is interesting. Practical antennas, also amateur radio satellites by yours truly, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. So there's a number of subjects. So grounding for the ham station, and there it is, Raspberry Pi applications, I said before. POTA, Parks on the Air, which is very popular. So those are some of the activities that we'll be doing. But yesterday, I began with a little ham radio rumblings. We talked about the ham radio clock. So let's pick that up again. Let's go to ham radio rumblings and officially introduce it and go there. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to this session of Ham Radio Rumblings. Again, Peter, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, and we will be covering ham radio clock. Now, I am just beginning my little adventure with ham radio clock, but I have found it to be fascinating. And yesterday, I believe I mentioned to you that I didn't read the instructions. I just set it up with a Raspberry Pi, and so I read some instructions today, and I got to tell you, it is awesome. Well, we're not going yet. I mean, after all, I'm right here. Okay, there you go. All right, there it is. There it is, and if you'll notice, I made some changes. Here's the deal. You have a number of things you can do. Here, my call sign, W2JV. Well, I like orange maybe today. Maybe I feel like I'm in a red mood. Maybe a green mood. Maybe blue, a blue mood. Anyway, so those are some of the things you can do. By right-clicking, you can change that. Now, by left-clicking, you can just change. There, that's cool. Just change the call sign, the foreground, and leave the background alone. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty neat indeed to do that. Yeah, you can move around any direction you want. So that's a little story about the ham radio clock and what it can do there. So now let's go over to Sunspot. Now we have Sunspot numbers. I happen to like this view of Sunspot, but let's say you say I don't like that. Okay, well then you look what you got. You've got BZBT rate, for instance, and let's just see what that looks like as an example. We'll click OK, and it'll scroll through different sections, so you'll find different things that you'd like overall. And yeah, I'll take the planetary off, and I'll take the sunspot off, and just leave the BZ. And usually it takes a moment or two. Well, there it is. There's the BZ. You know, if you have QSB on the signals, I think the higher the negative is, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat window, but I think the more instability you'll have, and they show you by the hour. So that's the BZ rate if you want that, but I prefer the planetary, so we'll go to that. and we'll look at the, again, planetary index. But we'll leave the BC right on because that may scroll to that as well. So we'll say, okay, that'll be fine. Here we have the sunspot number today, 142, and then you can move that around. And let's say you want to see, I don't know, contests. Let's see about contests. And we'll take the solar flux and the space weather off. Just look at contests and see what it says there. Okay, well, we got the sun. This probably will scroll around through different things, unless I didn't read that right. That's just contest. All right, we'll leave that on. I said with the SDO on. That's probably why it came up that way. There you go. Now look at that, contest. This is the WAZBMN weekend contests. There you go, Marconi Club, RGSB, ARRL Riddy Roundup. That's a very popular contest. Unfortunately, I won't be able to run in that because where will I be? You're right. Ham Radio University. That's January the 6th. But that's a great contest. So there you go. Contests. If you want to know about contests. Okay. Moon and so on. All right. So let's go back to, I guess, solar flux. And we'll look at that and kind of leave it with that. Okay. And I think that'll scroll over to it. Oh, we'll take contest off for now. And we'll say, okay. And by the way, here's a little lock screen here. When you put the lock on, it will be fixed to what you have. Live spots, you can move that around and you can see. But they'll have the same menus, but you scroll to different subs. You can look at all of them. Look at that. Soda. POTA. Let's see. Parks on the Air. Very popular. Let's see what Parks on the Air look like. Okay. Parks on the Air. There you go. Frequency, who's there, and what park they're in. And that's fresh, just a minute ago. I mean, what do you think? I mean, is this cool or what? Okay, so there you go with that. And we'll take a POTA off for now. And what did we have here? Okay, we had sunspot. I guess, did we have sunspot? Yeah, sunspot numbers, I guess. Okay, we'll see what that looks like. And we'll also see live spots, I guess. Okay, we'll leave it for now in that way with the sunspot number. Anyway, that's it. This is basically this is your cluster, your DX cluster, and you can have your own weather if you want. Let's see. This is DX weather. Is this my weather, local weather? I don't know. Let's see if that is. Okay, 42.6. You know, that's about right. It's 41 degrees now in Northport, Long Island, New York, with a humidity of 57%. That is pretty good. That's pretty cool. Okay. So that's that, and we'll go back to the spots from NCDXF. And here you have what you have. They'll show you the number of. There's a spot for where these spots are coming from. Also, this is really neat for you space cadets out there. You can basically look at essentially. Make a choice of what sats you want. There you go. Bingo! I picked the ISS, but you can pick some of our amateur radio satellites. There's Green Cube, the MEO satellite, and green means it's up now, right? Okay. Red means it's not operational, I guess, for some reason. It looks like RS-44 is out. There's SO-50, very popular FM satellite. Tevel 6 and 7. So, you know, you make your choice. So right now I picked ISS, and ISS will rise in 5 hours and 53 minutes, but it's going to be a low pass, as you can see from that to 6 degrees, so I will not be able to see it or work through it. A little T on the crossband repeater. Okay, so that's a little preview of this wonderful tool called DX, basically the ham clock, CLOCK. Okay, let's reintroduce ourselves. We're going to go to Ham Radio, basically Ham Radio 2024. It's going to start soon. I will set up for it. Thank you very much. Cue up the music and let me move some things around here. Stand by. Don't go away. Okay. Alrighty. And we're going to bring up the sound as well. Okay. Bring a couple of things into play here. And there we go. Okay, let's bring up our spectrum right now. And I think if you haven't seen this before, you will, I think enjoy it. This is the Flex Radio Spectrum. Voila. There it is. There it is. Now, you can't do much with it, right, without having some sound. So let's bring up the sound. And there you go. All right. This frequency looks to be... That's CQ POTA. Let's see.
2169. Listen.
Let's see if he has any company. I'll give him a call if he doesn't. This is...
60 parks on the air. 60 parks on the air. This is Alpha Golf 4, Delta Whiskey. That's Park Kilo 2169. Listen.
All right, let's do a little tune. Make sure we're cool. All right. Good. Okay. Let's see if he's around. My name is Peter, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, and I will be your host.
60 POTA. This is Alpha Golf 4, Delta Whiskey at Park Kilo 2169er. Listening.
Alpha Golf 4, I think it's Alpha Golf 4 Delta Whiskey, if I'm not mistaken. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform.
Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Yes, sir. I have you about a 5-9 plus here into Northwest Georgia. Park Kilo.
Stand by. Hello.
9er.
Thank you. And do I have the call right? Bakes. Wait, give me your call one more time if you can.
Well, certainly. Call sign here is Alpha Golf 4 Delta Whiskey.
Roger that. Okay. Alpha Golf 4. I've been distracted. Is that Delta Whiskey?
Delta Whiskey. Alpha Golf 4 Delta Whiskey. Correct.
Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. Danny in Georgia. Thanks a lot, Danny. Appreciate that very, very much. Danny, you've made contact right now with a official Ham Radio University station, W2HRU. We're having an event on January the 6th, and I'm leading up to the event with some live broadcasts. And if you'd like to get a certificate, you may get a certificate from the W2HRU site. So thank you very much for activating, and I do appreciate the contact. 73s, my name is Peter, Long Island, New York, and my home call is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor.
All right. Your call again was Whiskey 2 what now?
That's Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor.
All right. Talking a little faster than I could write. I will check out that, and I appreciate the contact, sir, and 73 to you.
Thank you, Danny. Well, that's the New York in me, Long Island, New York. My apologies. 73s, and have a great day out there. Thank you.
73. This is Alpha Golf 4 Delta Whiskey.
There you go. Okay, let's see if we can find our own little spot here. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? It's Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Frequency in use? Yeah, it looks like something's in use right there. I'm going to try something over here. I'm going to try to get my phone set up and see how that works. Let's see. So I can have automatic. Let's try that. So we can send a recording out. Control Shift G in N3FJP. Control Shift G. Okay, and let's have the monitor is on. Let's give it a try and see if we can call CQ here. Stand by.
CQ.
Oh, that's working.
Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Ham Radio University special event. CQ.
CQ calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Special event for Ham Radio University. A full day of learning and fellowship at LIU, CW Post College in Westbury, Long Island. My name is Peter. Personal call sign is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Listening. CQ calling CQ. CQ calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. W2HRU. Lead up to the January 6th live event in Westbury, Long Island for 21 forums. QRZ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ. And if you make contact with W2HRU, you are eligible for a wonderful certificate and QSL card. Doesn't get better than that, does it? CQ, 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 W2HRU, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform.
November 9, Victor Alpha Oscar.
Victor Alpha Oscar. Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon. Happy New Year. November 9, Victor Alpha. Do I have uniform? Is it November 9, Victor Alpha uniform?
Victor Alpha Oscar, Victor Alpha Ontario.
Yeah, I thought I heard it that way. I don't know why I put a U. There you go. November 9, Victor Alpha Ontario. Thank you so much. I think it's Walter in Wisconsin. Walter, you're a very solid 5'9 plus here on Long Island, New York.
Yeah, very good. And a happy New Year to you, sir. Yeah, you're a good 5'9 plus too, up into northwestern Wisconsin here. So a very happy New Year to you, and hope you make many more contacts. 73s from N9VAO.
Well, thank you so much, N9VAO, W2HRU. And I'm looking at your profile card on QRZ, Wally, and that is a beautiful, beautiful picture from the North Woods of Wisconsin. That's super looking nice. Have you ever seen that many deer at once, Wally?
Oh, yeah. We got 6 acres of land here in the North Woods, and we have quite a few deer all the time into our area here. I've seen as many as 6, 7 of them at a time in the yard.
That is wonderful. Yeah, we live in Northport, New York, which is the northern side of Long Island, and it's very wooded and trees here. And we have herds and herds of white-tailed deer. They look like mule deer. Am I correct on that, Wally?
Negative. They're the standard regular white-tailed deer. We do not have any mule deer up in this area. So as far as that goes, we've got the regular deer, and we also have elk up in this area here too.
Oh, that's terrific. Yes, the reason why I said it, they look heavy, but of course they're probably well fed. Here, there's not much food around on Long Island. It's difficult. They really scrounge for it, and they're pretty thin. They're getting along too, but they're thin. These guys are really healthy. Well, they look beautiful, and yeah, the best I've seen a beautiful 10-pointer, gorgeous rack, and we got some pictures of it here in our backyard. So it's a lot of fun. The only downside, Wally, is brings in quite a few ticks, so we have to be really careful of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've got a restriction right now on feeding deer. The DNR in Wisconsin has imposed for this year, well, last year 2023 and this year 2024, we can't feed the deer because they did find a couple of deer, not in my area here, but about 100 miles south of here, with that disease that the deer get. So we can't feed them right now, but they're still coming around and scrounging for what they can get.
Yeah, we don't feed them, of course, here where we are. However, we put plenty of water out, Wally, and they really enjoy that, especially during dry periods. And when they can't eat, so we get all the moisture from the different leaves. So water seems to be really something they really look forward to, and it's a pleasure to do that, some sort of natural thing. Well, thank you so much for giving me a little background of what's going on in Sawyer County. Yeah, we have about 1.25 acres here, so 6 acres is nice. 1.25 acres is pretty good for Long Island, but we pay through the you-know-what with the taxes. Anyway, 73s, and I really enjoyed the contact. Thanks for sharing a little bit of the background of your location from the Wisconsin Northwoods. Really pretty. 73s. N9VAO on your file, W2 Hotel Romeo uniform.
Bad RF on his audio.
Okay, well, 73 CQ, like I said, I hope you make many more contacts for yourself. We will shoot a QSL card out to you there. 73s, Happy New Year from November 9, Victor Alpha Oscar.
Wally, you've got bad RF on your audio.
Hi, Wally. N9VAO, yes, W2HRU. Wally, your audio is distorting. Do you want to work on that for a moment with us? Thank you for bringing that up. By the way, I'm W2HRU. Your call, please?
Kilowatt 2 beautiful ladies underwear.
I had to take a moment there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Zach, I think in Florida, Zach, and we'll stand by to see if Wally could fix that.
Yeah, it's either his antenna, he's got SWR, or he needs to throw some toroids on his wires.
You've got that all right. Yeah, one of the three. I don't know if he's running an amp or not, but it does sound a bit like RF is getting into the mic.
Oh, it's absolutely RF.
Yeah, I'm using a Flex 6400, and it's an RF generator, and I had to do quite a bit to get it to clean up a bit. How does my audio sound to you, Zach?
Yeah, I don't hear any RF. Listen, I live in Condo Hill here, and I'm using a 14-foot whip on a motorized coil 30 feet from my window at eye level, and I've got about $1,000 worth of toroids and everything from my mixer to my mic cables to my audio cables to my coax cables to my power cables, everything.
Zach, that's the way to go. And do you wrap the toroids? You make a few wraps, or you just get the right toroid for the size cable you're using, and that's it?
If the wires are thin enough and I can wrap them, I will. If not, I'll just snap them on. But if you look at my cable between my microphone and the radio, or my microphone and the mixer, you can barely see any cable. It's all toroids down the line.
Perfect. And you know, you have a 5.9 plus signal here into Long Island, New York. I got to tell you, and my antenna is pointed northwest. So phenomenal job, great job. Wally, are you there? Do you want to give us a shout? Go ahead.
I think he might have left before the bad news.
Okay. Well, thank you. I was going to bring it up, but thank you for bringing it up, and we'll try to catch him later. And I think you know Wally, and maybe the two of you could work it out through emails and so on.
Actually, I don't know, Wally, but you know what? I find it mind-boggling, and this is no reflection on you, but just in general, you can have somebody with the worst audio and RF in history, and nobody will tell him.
Yeah, that often is the case. You're right, and it's a disservice, really, disservice to the ham radio community, and not really following the FCC guidelines, where we're supposed to advance the art and have a clean signal. But what are you going to do? Hopefully, I'll get to him. If not, I'll send him an email or a text. Well, 73s to you, Zach. Thanks a lot, and Happy New Year. And you're in the log, by the way, for Ham Radio University, and we are offering a certificate. We are 25 years into doing forums, and certificate is available at the W2HRU site. Well, so thank you, and have a very happy New Year. K2BLU, W2HRU.
Right, 7-3, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much, Jack. CQ calling CQ, CQ calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform. 25 years of bring Ham Radio University to the universe. Mostly CW Post LIU and maybe GoToMeeting, but this is W2HRU, Long Island, New York.
Kilo Golf 5, November, Yankee Foxtrot.
Thank you very much. Kilo Golf 5, November Yankee Foxtrot. Nice 5.9 plus signal, Matthew, from Long Island, New York.
Thank you very much. I've got you at a 5.9 also in Fayetteville, Arkansas, northwest corner of Arkansas.
Ah, yes, Fayetteville is well known. Thank you so much for some good things. Well, 73s to you, Matthew. Have a very happy New Year, and thanks for making contact with W2HRU.
73s to you, and have a great day.
Great day and a happy New Year. QRZ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo Uniform.
Kilo 9, Uniform Oscar, Kilo Mobile.
Mobile, Kilo 9, Uniform, Oscar Kilo Mobile, 5 and 9 here into Long Island, New York, home of Ham Radio University on the air, and I think it's Wendell from Indiana. Go ahead, Wendell.
Well, thank you, but please call me Gino. That's what's on the QRZ page. Golf Echo November Oscar.
You're likewise 5 and 9 in the little old Newcastle,
Indiana.
Thank you, Gino. I got it. Now, Gino, are you on that beautiful bike that I see here on your QRZ page?
No, I'm in my new Dodge Ram truck. It's a nasty day. It's just a great day to talk on the radio.
Yeah, that's one thing about this time of the year. It certainly can be a pleasure. Well, listen, you sound great, and this is the home of Ham Radio University. A lead up to the live event January the 6th. We're celebrating our 25th year of putting on forums for Ham Radio University, and we're going to be doing that live this year at LIU Post College in Westbury, Long Island, New York. We've done it for the last couple of years through GoToMeeting, which was very nice. So next year, hopefully, we'll do a hybrid. We'll do both in person and also online. So 73s to you. Unless you have any other questions, Gino, I'll stand by.
No, but I want to thank you for doing that. I mean, I know it takes a lot of volunteer time and get people interested in ham radio, and I applaud any of you folks that do that to help out the hobby. For some reason, we always have pipeline into Long Island. I do a lot of photo work, and I would say at least a third of my contacts are in the New York City, Long Island, Rochester area almost every day.
Well, that's great, and that's not surprising. I mean, we have a lot of dedicated operators, but of course, the entire country has. I mean, you try to get on 20 meters these days, and they're filled with wonderful operators from all over the country, and some all over outside of the country as well. So that's great that the pipeline is there, and it's always a pleasure to talk with folks from different parts of the country. So, Gino, I enjoyed the contact. Best of 73s, and yes. My wife today reminded me, gee whiz, you're putting an awful lot of time into this. Is it really worth it? And of course I say, yes, it is. So anyway, 73s, K9, are you okay, W2HRU?
Well, please share with the missus that K9UOK has been licensed since 1962. So this will be my 62nd year in ham radio, and I sure think it's worth it.
Well, thank you. You beat me by 2 years. I was licensed, well, by 1 year. I got my novice license in 1963. We had the New York World's Fair here in 1964, and I wanted to be licensed so I could operate what I thought was the Collins equipment, but it really was Hallicrafters. But good for you and good for us, and I'm going to refer her to you if I have any further problems. Is that okay with you, Gino?
Oh, yeah, throw me under the bus. That's okay. I got broad shoulders. 73s, and thank you again for doing everything you're doing for ham radio.
Okay, my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, I got a big bus, and there's plenty of room under there. Anyway, 73s, have a wonderful day, and most of all, happy and healthy New Year. QRZ, anyone, anywhere, W2HRU, Ham Radio University.
November 1, Tango Oscar Charlie.
Charlie's Hotel Radio.
The radio station, hold on 1 second. Hold on, radio. How about November 1, Tango Oscar Charlie?
Hey, good afternoon. November 1, Tango Oscar Charlie's name is Russ from Ocala, Florida. Good afternoon, over.
Oh, thank you, Russ. You helped me out because your QRZ, of course, has the FCC database named Russell. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very, very much. And you've got a 5.9 signal, nice signal from Florida today. Nice audio as well. And we are the official station for W2HRU, Ham Radio University, where we've been giving forums for 25 years. Hard to believe that. Anyway, over to you for any finals, Russ. A pleasure to talk with you.
Roger. Quick question. Where's your location? You're coming in really good here, over.
Yes, I'm located in Long Island, New York. Northport is a location about 45 miles from New York City. And my home call, Russ, is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. QSL?
Roger. N1TC. One other quick question. I just got back into the hobby, and I'm really amazed. I was just wondering if it's some kind of software that you have, because I notice when I make a contact with somebody and I give them my call sign, they immediately know my name and information. Is there a some kind of computer program that recognizes the call sign and looks it up for you, or are you just really quick with your fingers there, over?
No. Far from that. I'm left-handed, so that should tell you all you need to know. Now, there are many programs that will populate the call sign through logs. Now, I'm using N3FJP, AC log, which has a feature where you can tell it to show the individual's information as well as their QRZ page. So that is something that I can receive with this. So it's N3FJP, but I'm sure there are many other logs that have that ability. But this one does it, and yeah, populates the entire populates all the columns, Russ, with all that information. Go ahead.
Roger. So just by my voice command will look up my QRZ information, over.
Well, no, actually, it's your call. Your call keys into the QRZ page, and that populates all the fields.
Roger that. Okay, hey, thank you. I didn't know that. I was wondering because I talked to a few people, and gee, as soon as I give my call sign, they know where I was born and everything. Anyway, okay. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. I used to live in Massachusetts. I'm down here in Florida, retired, and you have a wonderful New Year there, sir. Over.
Oh, thank you, Russ, so very, very much. I appreciate it. You have a healthy and a happy New Year, too, as well. You got a nice signal, and yeah, this is the kind of event where any questions at all are really welcome. So the best of 73s to you, and yeah, we have a lot. You can't hide here on when you have an FCC license. Your information is all over the joint. Anyway, 73s. You know, the Romeo station, I hope you're still there, and I hope you're waiting. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform.
thank you. Good afternoon. Whiskey Bravo 9, Charlie Hotel Romeo.
Well, good afternoon to you, and thank you so very much. Whiskey Bravo 9, Charlie Hotel Romeo. Well, you know what? I like you right away, Arthur, and I'm looking at you with that nice orange shirt with that big smile on your face, and what looks like, I don't know if that's old Collins equipment, but there's some boat anchors back there, and I like the look of that. So thank you so much for your patience. Over to you. My name is Peter, by the way, Pop Echo Tango Echo Romeo, and I'm located in Long Island, New York, and my home call is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor. We're doing the Ham Radio University lead up to the live event on January the 6th. Over to you, Art. Thank you so much for waiting.
Very good, Peter. Yeah, this is my museum. I've had a lot of these radios for many years. Whenever I get rid of one, I have deep regret. So I've held on to my novice station from back in 1969. I think I heard that you were ham earlier than that. How long ago did you get your license? Over?
Well, thank you very much. Got my license in high school, 1963, a year before the New York World's Fair. And when I went to the World's Fair, I knew where I wanted to go, the Coca-Cola Pavilion, because that's where the amateur radio station was housed. My dad said to me, "Come on, take a look at the new Ford Mustang." I said, "No, I want to go in here," and I didn't leave for most of the event. So yeah, 63, I got my novice license, Art. And how did I find an amateur to mentor me? Back in those days, there were a lot of hams, right? And I got on my bicycle. It didn't take more than maybe half a mile to find somebody with a Mosley antenna, 3-element beam on their roof.
Oh yeah, Roger that. Yeah, it was a good time. I think my graduating class had 12 hams and one teacher with a ham, so we enjoyed it quite a bit, and it was fun because Auto Patch was just coming into vogue probably around 1970, 71, and we had a lot of fun with that, and it was very good, and we've enjoyed the hobby since, and thank you so much, Peter, from being from Long Island, and great people today. Over.
My pleasure, my pleasure. A little QSB today, but that's not surprising when the planetary KP is 2.7, so it's kind of expected. Well, I really enjoyed this. Happy New Year to you, Art. Thanks for the questions. We love them, and we'll answer whatever we can. 73s, and happy New Year. 73s to Art.
Okay, Peter, 73s, good luck. Carry on and do good, and be careful, and have a safe and wonderful New Year. WTHRU, WB9CHR, good job, 73.
Well, 73s, Russian, thank you. And if you'd like a certificate, go to the W2HRU site, and you can download a certificate after the event closes. So 73s to you, and thanks a lot for the good wishes. QRZ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform.
CQ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Ham Radio University special event. CQ. CQ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Ham Radio University special event. CQ.
CQ calling CQ calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. For Ham Radio University, 25 years, W2HRU, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. CQ calling CQ, Whiskey 2 Hotel Radio uniform, calling CQ and listening. A little dry spell here. CQ calling CQ calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. This is W2HRU. Maybe if I move the microphone closer, somebody will hear me. W2 Ham Radio University, CQ calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. W2HRU listening. I heard Echo November 4. Echo November 4, you kind of dropped out. Echo November 4, come in again with your call. Okay, let me move my beam. I think you may be south. Let me move the beam a bit and see if we can pick you up. Stand by, Kilo November 4. Stand by for a moment. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Swinging the beam more towards the south. See what we can see if we can pick up the station Kilo November 4. But today you don't know where anybody is. So you could be in Alaska for all I know, but let's give it a try. Kilo November 4, Kilo November 4. Come back again, please. Kilo November 4. This is Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Well, maybe he was in Alaska. Well, anyway, CQ calling, CQ calling, CQ, W2HRU, Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform, special events station for Ham Radio University. Thank you. First Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Whiskey. Thank you. There's a signal. 5 and 9, Long Island, New York. Name is Peter.
Very good, Peter. The name here is Mike, and we're located in northeast Georgia, where the weather is overcast and pretty cool for us, but no snow. we rarely get snow. Nice to hear you on the air. Will you explain a little bit about the special event? W2HRU KM4YW.
Thank you very much. KM4YW. Thank you, Mike. Whiskey 2 Hotel Romeo uniform. Thank you so very much. And thanks for the weather report. Here it's mild. It's 40, let me see now. It's about 42 degrees, 59% humidity, and it is overcast, completely overcast. And we're just waiting for what's going to happen with that storm that's coming off the peninsula of California. So we'll see what happens. Now, what are we talking about here? Well, this is Ham Radio University, W2HRU. We've been doing basically forums for 25 years, and we've been mostly located on Long Island, New York, because we are the Hudson Division, and that is a convention sanctioned by the ARRL. So we put on about 21 forums. In the past couple of years, Mike, we've been doing it through GoToMeeting and Zoom. But this year we're going live again, and next year we'll try to do a hybrid where we'll do both Zoom and in person. So it's an in-person type of get-together, like a basically a hamvention, but all we have are forums, and there are about 21 of them. How does that do for some questions, Mike?
W2HRU KM4YW. Well, it answers it very well, Peter. Thank you very much for the explanation. Keep up the good work. We appreciate the work. I'm going to be celebrating 61 years as a ham this year, so we appreciate all the work that everybody puts in to keep this hobby going. So I'll wish you best of 73s from Georgia. We'll look for you further down the log. W2HRU KM4YW will be clear.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for saying that as well. We got licensed in 1963, so that looks like we're about in the same ballpark. So congratulations. And yes, we are definitely spreading the word, and I think that Ham Radio University is bringing in some younger people because we're now integrating subjects like Raspberry Pi as it applies to amateur radio. And I know I have a 12-year-old niece who is going to be going to Ham Radio University, and she's going to be interested in some of the getting started subjects as well as the CW forum, which is brought by the Long Island CW Club. So yes, we're trying to do our job and trying to spread the word and get the younger people involved. You can't give up on them. And certainly when I show them my Flex Radio with the beautiful Spectrum screen and the analyzers and how a computer is necessary for it, it is something that they might say, well, we might have an interest. So thank you very much for that, and we're trying. I know there's a couple other stations there, and we'll say 73s to you, Mike. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Peter.
73, W2HRU.
KCWW.
The KCW, come on again, please.
Good afternoon. This is KHCWW, Kilo 8 Charlie Whiskey. My name is Bill.
Thank you, Bill. I like that call. Kilo 8 Charlie Whiskey. Thank you, Bill, from Ohio. 5 and 9, Bill. Nice signal and nice station here as it shows up on QRZ. Like the equipment, like the monitors, and I'm looking at the monitor on top. It looks like you almost have a FTDX10 because I had that monitor look. Is that correct, or the 7300?
Yeah, actually it's the FTDX 101D.
The 101D. Are you completely happy with it, like so many people are, Bill?
I tell you what, I really love this transceiver. I heard you talking earlier, and we were licensed in the same year. I was first licensed in 1963. Also grew up in a little town here in Ohio, but went on my senior high school trip to the World's Fair. So we have that in common. I was licensed back then, and then I had fun for a couple of years, went away to college, and life happened, career and family and so on. And so I retired a few years ago. I hadn't been active at all and got back on the air. So a lot of this equipment is new to me, and I'm really loving it. This is a beautiful radio. Go ahead.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Bob Sherwood also thinks it's a beautiful radio, and I don't know if you've seen his website, but he goes on to a very extensive analysis of all the radios, and the dynamic range of the 101 is, I think, top of the heap. And there are a lot of other data points that he really points to. So you've got a real winner there, an excellent, excellent radio, that is for sure. So now, you went to the World's Fair. Did you get to the Coca-Cola Pavilion, Bill?
I heard you say that. Well, by the way, I missed your name.
The name is Peter, Pop Echo Tango Echo Romeo, and I'm located in Northport, Long Island, New York, and my home call is Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor.
Okay, gotcha, Peter. Thanks very much. I heard you talking about the Coca-Cola Pavilion and that there was a ham station there, and I had no idea. I went to the Coca-Cola Pavilion, and somehow I missed that, and I would have sure been camped out there. I think you probably were there a year earlier than me. But, we were wide-eyed country kids from Appalachian, Ohio, and had never been, most of us had never been out of the state. So the World's Fair was a breathtaking experience for all of us. Anyway, back to the equipment. So I'm catching up fast. I've been back on the air for a few years now. I retired a few years ago, sold my companies, and I'm really enjoying ham radio again. I love it that you're doing this work for the kids because, we've got to reach out to them and appeal to what's interesting to them because, without this next generation or two or three or more, ham radio will no longer be. So kudos to you. I'm so happy to hear what you're doing, and I congratulate you for it.
Bill, thank you very much. I appreciate that. K8C WW2HRU Ham Radio University on the air. Thank you, Bill. One of the things we really pay attention to, we have a club, the Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club. It is a phenomenal club led by our president, W2HCB, John. He has done so much to integrate all levels of folks into the hobby. And we are lucky to have field day on a very busy highway called Sunrise Highway in Babylon, Long Island, New York. And there's a giant sign that we put out to bring in people. It is very well attended. However, what we try to do is make sure that as many active amateur operators as possible bring the young people in to activate the go-to tent. Well, this year, now, I took a chance. The year before, I brought my nephew. He was, at the time, he was 14 years old. And he was really into simulation, flying, and using all the latest games that he was involved with. So I didn't think we had a good chance with him. But he went there, he got on the air, and at least we introduced it to him. You never know if it'll come back in his life. However, this year, I saw some potential with his sister. Sister Ellie is 12 years old. She's going to a STEM school, and I said, "My goodness!" I said, "I don't know. I gotta talk to her." I said, "My niece, grandniece, has 6 children," and I said, "Well, let me pick number 2." I said, "Laura, would you mind asking her if she'd like to come to Ham Radio University?" She said, "Sure." She said, "Will had a wonderful time when he came." And it's great. I mean, we had 7 stations, tents up there, barbecuing. It was just a party. Well, anyway, long story short, Ellie got in there. I'm a satellite operator, and one of the satellites, AO7, I had to use CW because it's a very old satellite. It launched in '74, so the transponder is not too well. Sideband doesn't work, and you can't throw much power into it. Otherwise, it'll swamp the front end. So we have to use CW with about maybe 2 watts. Anyway, I was pounding on the key. She said, "Man, that looks like fun and it sounds nice." So the next thing you know, a couple of guys came over, showed their keys, a couple of Bengali keys, and she was overwhelmed. So I got her a CW oscillator for Christmas, and she is coming to Ham Radio University. So I think I think the FCC will be happy with what I did. Over to you, Bill.
Wow, Peter, what a great story, and what a heartwarming tale about little Ellie, 12-year-old Ellie, and her STEM background, and of course her interest in being piqued by all the gear and the interestingly enough, the CW. By the way, as far as my call is concerned, I was first licensed as WN8, as a novice, as CWW. So this call is for real. But I was so inactive, and I actually let my license expire. And then they had an amnesty program over the next couple of years, and somebody reminded me about my license. I got my license.
I hope people are listening, because this is better than television.
And so when I became active again, in other words, I got an N8 call, and but I became active again and looked for a vanity call to get my old call back, WA8CWW. It was gone. I couldn't get that call, but I found that KHCWW was available. So the suffix is original. Anyway, I'm so glad to hear all the work you're doing, Peter. I think all the time about what ham radio really meant to me. Even though I was inactive all those years, it played such a big part in my life and in any success I had with my career. So I always try to pitch in anytime I can and see what we can do to keep the kids interested, because it's really really important. Back to you, Peter.
Thank you so very much. I love your call, I really do. K8CWW, W2HRU. Do you do any CW? That's one of the questions. I like the call. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That is a nice call. My original call was, of course, WN2OQQ. Then it became WB2OQQ, which my wife now owns. Thank goodness. Thank you, Adele. I love you for doing that. And so I said, I need a shortened call. Well, some of my close friends said, you live and die with the call you're born with, and I know that's true. So I think I went the right direction. My father's a World War II veteran in the Air Corps, and when the auction was due, I looked through many auctions. Finally, there was a call by a gentleman who actually was in the Air Corps. He flew, distinguished career in the Air Force, and believe it or not, I mean, he grew up in the Midwest, but spent time in my hometown, Massapequa, which is an incredible coincidence. Anyway, so I went for the call. Even though it's not the easiest for CW, it meant a lot to me and my dad, and I'm really glad that I'm now actually the third owner. It was issued first in 1929. And it's fascinating, the history of call signs and looking back and how they've evolved and who owned them and a little bit about their backgrounds. And I got the original QSL card that the original owner in 1929 used. So it was online, luckily, and I was able to acquire it. So that was pretty neat. And I think a lot of us are so interested, not only just in the contact part, but there's so many pieces of it. The history of amateur radio, the stamps that you receive when you get the QSL cards, the geography lessons when you speak with somebody in a strange place that you never heard of. So that makes it fun. Now, one more element, I think, where I'm trying to draw the young people in. I am now streaming these broadcasts on Twitch TV. Now, Twitch TV is a popular platform for people that are doing games, people that are doing blogs, and it attracts a lot of the young people. So I'm streaming this and hopefully getting some audience as a result of that, where they're saying, wait a minute now, there's some technology here. So if you ever want to hear yourself, W2, basically Twitch TV with my call, Whiskey 2 Juliet Victor, and you'll see my pan adapter, you'll see my picture, and I'll wave over here, and you'll see my red hat, and that's the story. So that is another, I think, perhaps pull to get the young people into our hobby. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, W2HRU from the Ham Radio University. Here is K8CWW returning. Great, Peter. I'm going to look for your blog on or your situation there on Twitch TV. What a good idea. What a great idea. I love the way that you're getting involved in so many different ways, because that's really what we have to do. I'm always preaching this at the local radio club, and I'm sort of a newcomer, having been retired all these years, but I just feel it's so important, and I love the work that you're doing. I like the story of the history of your call. Very, very interesting. You're right. These calls have, many of them have a lot of history. I always loved the call. I got that CWW suffix, just absolutely luck of the draw, and I never wanted to give it up. So I got it back in a 5-character version, which I like. And yes, when we were kids, CW was easy, and we were all very fast. I'm sure you were too. I was quickly copying in my head, and routinely, in that 25 to 30 word a minute QSO level. Interestingly enough, I found when I came back into ham radio several years ago that it's something that didn't really leave me. I'm not nearly as fast as I used to be. I love to work CW, though. I still do, mostly on 40 meters, but sometimes here on 20. But I still like it, and it's amazing how it never really left me. Just not as fast as I used to be, and not as able to copy in my head as fast as I used to. Okay, great. What a pleasure to run into you this afternoon, Peter. I truly was just...
I think he's just exaggerating.
And heard your call. I'm going to look for you on Twitch TV. I'm going to look for you on the air. Take a look at your QRZ site and so on. If you see my QRZ picture, I've got... vintage radios that I wish I would have had when I was a kid on the left-hand side of my ham shack. Halcraft's SX100, of course, the Collins 75S3, a couple of Drakes. I finally had saved enough paper route money to buy a Drake 2B before I went off to college. And it's not that one, but I was able to replicate it. And then on the right-hand side of the shack is the more up-to-date, state-of-the-art stuff. So I'm just relearning and having a bunch of fun. Again, great to run into you, Peter. You probably have a backlog of folks wanting to talk to you, but I'll be looking for you on the air and on Twitch TV. Back to you, Peter. W2HRU, Ham Radio University. This is KHCWW.
Oh, thank you, Bill, for plugging us. KHCWW, W2HRU, celebrating our 25th year of educating amateur radio operators and others on the subject of amateur radio. Well, interesting with CW. You're absolutely right. I unfortunately went to the dark side, and I'm looking at the rig on the left side. My first inclination was, that's a Hammerland receiver, but no, it isn't, because I looking at it from a distance. It looks like it, with all the knobs. I had the first radio I bought when I got licensed. Actually, I used a Heathkit Tour originally, and then I went. I really liked, at that time, 6 meters was really, we had some great propagation, 64, 63. So I went towards AM, and it was with the HQ110A VHF and the Seneca, Heathkit Seneca that I had. And, in basically retrospect, I just wish I spent more time on CW, which I didn't, because I got to CW later on in life, and it became very difficult. Head copy was especially difficult, but you're right. I have friends that learned as a kid in high school, and they are still banging out 25, 30 words a minute, and they are really rocking in the contest. So, yeah, that's something that I didn't do. But I'll tell you one thing that surprised me. I went to my parents. They bought their house in, I guess, 59. So it was a relatively new house, Bill, in 63. And I said to them, I'm getting my license. Would I be able to put a top section of a Roan tower on top of the roof? Get this, drilling through the roof, 2x4, Roan tower and joists and everything. And on that, I wanted to put a 6 meter and a 2 meter Yagi. And I held my breath. I said, no way, because they are really, my mother was obsessive about the house. And my father and mother said, we'll get back to you. And they said yes. And I had a ball with it. I kept my sister up late at night because I was calling CQ, and I should have been banging the keys, and we were nice and quiet, but that's another day. Many, many years later, Bill, I asked them the question. Now, again, I was, 14 when I got the license. I said, how did you agree to that? We looked at each other, my mom and dad said, and we felt we knew where you were, and that made us very comfortable. That's a pretty strong statement, don't you think, Bill?
Yeah, W2HRU, KHCWW returning. Yeah, absolutely. I have a feeling that that's exactly what my parents were thinking too. They didn't really understand what I was into, but they knew that they knew where I was, and so yeah, I can really relate to that. It sounds like even though you were growing up in New York, in the big city, and I was out here in the Midwest in the country, our lives were running along the same lines. Very, very interesting. You're by the way, I should have mentioned earlier, you have a great signal in here. Just you're 5x9, and on my S meter for whatever good that is, you're S9 to as high as 20 over sometimes. The band's getting a little flaky right now, so. But anyway, I am in that classic HOA situation that you get into out here in these
That's
developments.
tough.
So we have a very nice home in a very nice area, but it's very restrictive on antennas. So I have this little end-fed wire, set up for 40 meters and 20 meters. And it's 67 feet long. It's very stealthy looking. It goes from a pine tree where it's
See, that works. HOA doesn't mean you can't work amateur radio.
Pine tree about 20 feet up, and the wire runs up to an oak tree that's about 30 feet up. So it's not much of an antenna, and so you may not be receiving me well. I do have a little amplifier connected to this. FTDX 101. It's a little Elecraft combo, that has the antenna tuner and matching linear amplifier. And running about, let me see, about 405 watts right now. But it's a little 500 watt linear. So anyway, back over to you, Peter. W2HRU from KHCWW.
Thank you so much. KHCWW, W2HRU. Yeah, well, about the volume of people, I'm finding that the QSO style has worked very well for Ham Radio University as an example because, like the movie Being There, a lot of people just like to watch, like Chauncey Gardner said, I like to watch. Different situation, but a lot of people do, and there are more people than you think of that are just watching and listening, and that counts for so many other QSOs by just spreading the word. So thank you also for spending the time with me as well. Oh, one thing I want to mention, by the way, the NFED is doing well, and I'm not kidding. The band is holding, and you're at times 10 over 9, and very strong. Excuse me, doing very well. Let me also mention one more thing. I don't know if you're familiar with the Long Island CW Club, but my good friend Howard Bernstein, he formed the club, I don't know now, 3-4 years ago. And now they've got thousands of members all over the world. It is just a fun club. They put on Zoom presentations every day. Take a look. It's such a nice social and, you're learning all different elements, not only of CW, but amateur radio. I think it may be worth looking at. I've really enjoyed being part of it. They're going to be at the LIU CW Post Forum, and Howard is running a forum that he's calling, what is he calling his forum? Let's see, he's calling his forum, I know it's here, I got to find it somewhere, pardon me for that. Well, let's see, I guess it's not on this particular page, but I'm looking a little further here. Howard, where are you? I know you're here somewhere. Well, you know what? I'm going to look on another list because this may not be. I'm looking at a sheet that may not be up to date, really. But he's going to be running a forum that's titled "Having Fun with CW: Learning New Ways to Increase Your Speed." Now he'll have a PDF, so you don't have to come to Long Island to gain the benefit of it. But no, and he probably puts that same forum on their forums. They run about 20 different classes a day. Just an incredible thing that they do with all the volunteers. So that's something that you may want to take a look at, Bill, and for that. So thank you for the time. Thank you. I think you have the Elecraft KPA 500. It's doing a great job. 400 watts is really helping with the NFED antenna. So thanks so very much for putting out a really good signal. Well, listen, I hope we run across each other again. Yes, we've crossed paths, even though we're in different parts of the country, and yes, where I grew up, it was a smaller town, so it wasn't like the big city, so it helped a little bit. But there we go. Well, 73 is to you, good health, and happy New Year from Long Island, New York. K8 CWW W2 Ham Radio University. Over to you there, Bill.
W2HRU from KHCWW. Okay, Peter, thanks so much. What a pleasure to run into you this afternoon. I'm going to check out the Long Island CW Club. I'm sure they have a webpage. I'll Google it up and find out about the Zoom classes and the other information. Sounds great. I'll look for your friend Howard. And I'll be looking for you again on the air. Really enjoyed our conversation this afternoon. Hey, best of luck with everything that you're doing, and again, pleasure to run into W2HRU and learn all about Ham Radio University this afternoon. 73, Peter, all the best, and especially in the new year, and hope to talk to you again soon. W2HRU. This is Kilo 8 Charlie Whiskey KHCWW from Central Ohio. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. N8CWW, November 8, Charlie Whiskey 2, Hotel Romeo Uniform, Ham Radio University. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the stories. Thank you for sharing your shack with me, and really enjoyed the time. It's so incredible. You can instantly make some good friends with the common threads that we follow, and generally speaking, they are pretty decent people. So thank you so much, and the best of 73s. Happy and healthy New Year, and thank you so much for spending the time with us here today. 73s, and be well, and maybe we'll see each other on a Zoom session on LICW. We look forward to it. I'll make sure I comb my hair. Be well. Thank you so much. This is W2HRU 73s there, Bill.
And ciao, Peter. KHCWW is clear.
Thank you so much. I don't know if we have anybody aboard, but I'm here for a few more minutes before I'll be kicked off the air by having to do household duties. So where are we? We are Whiskey 2 Ham Radio University, W2HRU, celebrating 25 years of putting events on the air and in person. This year, LIU Westbury College for 21 forums. It'll be terrific. W2HRU listening. Okay, that's it. W2HRU will be going QRT 73s. Okay, we're alone again. Hi there, folks on Twitch. Good afternoon. Well, as I said, it's more conversational, it's more sharing ideas with other people, and hopefully we have a bunch of people listening on the side that might be within the area here near Long Island, New York. I know that 20 meters is not the best venue for finding people locally, but you never know, and hopefully they'll pass the word. If they're not here, they'll say, hey, somebody in New York I know, and maybe they can attend. So we're looking forward to it. January the 6th, Ham Radio University, and we're going to have 21 forums, and it'll be a very exciting event. So 73s, everybody. I'll leave you with some goodbye music, and thanks a lot for being part of a Ham Radio University. 73s. Seven threes, everybody, from Peter, W2JV Home Call. 7 3s, and thank you, and